Hello. In this video, I will give some implementation details about Stunner and in concrete for the BPMN2 extension for Stunner. So, first of all, in order to understand the key points, let's open a BPMN process. For example, the evaluation one. In the Stunner domain, for example, when we open the palette, we have different items that we can create. These items in the Stunner domain are called definitions. So definitions provide the domain model, so our properties, our allowed values, our metadata, our rules. So basically the definitions and all around that provide the structure, the final structure the user is allowed to create. So for example, for the BPMN2, we have the start non-event definition, the end event definition, we have a task definition, user task, and a script task, etc. Translated into code, in order to create a definition, for example, a user task, you only have to provide a single Java POJO. With this bin, if you annotate using if you annotate this bin using the Stunner's definition annotation, it automatically will be considered to be included in the Stunner domain. This means that this bin will be processed and will be available for creating new shapes, etc. So for the BPMN case, we have different type of definitions. For example, the user task, a non-task is another definition, even a sequence flow is as well a definition. So definitions provide our models, but at the same time, definitions, for example, a user task, provides properties as well. For example, the task type. As definitions have inheritance, as you can see, base tasks have different implementations, which are the business rule, the known, the script, the user. So, but all these implementations are sharing the same properties in this case, and some other metadata attributes. So, this way, just using Java inheritance and simple Java bin POJOs, we can create our domain models. So, for example, a script task is another definition as well. For the definitions, we have, as commented, properties. What's a property? A property is another Java bin that it's annotated with the Stunner's property annotation. This way, we can provide default values, allowed values, we can provide different metadata, and a property finally, it's a value container or a multi-value container. So this way, we have a tree of definitions and properties that we can share just by annotating on different places. In order to define a concrete extension for Stunner, you have to create what's called a definition set. For example, in the BPMN case, we have the BPMN definition set. This is just a bin as well as the others. Really simple bin that's annotated with Stunner's definition set annotation. This annotation is called from Stunner, and it allows to provide the different definitions that will be finally available or present in your diagrams in order to create, remove, etc. So at this point, we have a completely POJO annotated domain model, and which is composed by definitions and properties. So at this point, we need to represent that domain model. This is where shapes come into place. So for each definition, you can provide a shape implementation. For example, let's back to the user task. So we have a definition, and we want to use this definition properties in order to draw shapes in the diagram and give a visual representation for it. So we have two options to creating shapes. We can provide shapes by creating custom factories and providing custom view codes. For example, shapes built on top of Lienzo, which is an HTML5 canvas API, really good. Or we can just use built-in Stunner shape definitions. For example, if you look, all the tasks, because this class is abstract, so all the tasks like non-task, script task, user task, will inherit this annotation. So this annotation means, okay, I'm using a built-in Stunner shape, and I have to provide a definition for this one. So if I look at this task shape definition, it just says which are the raw values that we will use to draw our shapes. In this case, a task can be considered as a rectangle. So, as we implement this interface, we will need to provide the different strings for background colors, for the alphas. So, but these all these values are given from the definition as well. So, this base task will provide the background color for this shape, or the background alpha, or the border color. So this way we can change at runtime the visual representation for the task or the visual representation for the different elements by just changing its properties, because they are bound to shape definitions.